Peace, everybody, and welcome back. We are talking about this new week that started Monday. What was Monday? The 8th? Yes. All the way till Sunday, the 14th. And it's a Jack of Diamonds week. And I first want to say and start off this video that I am not here to talk politics. I am not here to talk left, right, up, down, high, low. I'm just here to talk cards. That is what I do. That is what my passion is to break things down via the cards. This will not be a political post at all. I want to talk about the Jack of Diamonds, and that is the week that we are in, and that is what I'm going to focus on. So, with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so when we look at the Jack of Diamonds just on the plate, you can see that it sits in this row here, which is Uranus, and then this row here, which is Neptune. So let's talk about that. Uranus, sudden, unexpected, out of the blue, even electrifying, could be kind of intense. And we have seen that play out already this week, right? And we also know that this country, in the United States at least, it's also aligned to the Jack of Diamonds energy because July 4th is a Jack of Diamonds day. So you can say the United States is a Jack of Diamonds energy. And since that's a Cancer birthday, their planetary ruling card would be the King of Clubs. And ironically enough, today is a King of Clubs day. And today is also September 11th. And so the September 11th incident happened in a Jack of Diamonds week, interestingly enough. Another story for another time. Let's focus on the Jack of Diamonds. So this Uranus energy, as we know, sudden, liberating, intense, shock, breakthroughs, and I believe Uranus went retrograde as well, and we're seeing a lot of intense energy, especially in this country. Now we have the Neptune line as well, and we know that Neptune is spiritual practices, can be a little rose-colored glasses, a little bit of delusional energy, and what we notice too, even though the Jack of Diamonds sits here, Uranus, Neptune, a good majority of its cards in its life spread sit in the Neptune row. And they do say that the Jack of Diamonds is a salesman card. They're very creative, very innovative, great at marketing. Almost, if you've ever heard me talk about the heart energy, I say it's Rico Suave. It's just a magnet. So you can feel it. It feels good. The Jack of Diamonds is probably one of the only non-heart cards I give the Rico Suave title to because they have this charisma, this magnetic ability to persuade, to almost convince. Because remember, it's a salesman card. They're trying to sell you something. They're brilliant in their marketing. They're brilliant in, bringing a higher set of values. And that's really what it is about when you think about it, because in the card system, the sevens and the jacks are that bridge, right? We talk a lot about the sevens being that bridge from the mundane to the spiritual, and then the jacks being the bridge from what I call like that peasant energy to the royal energy, because it's the jack energy that you have to go through to get to the queens and the kings. So there is an initiation when we see jacks, right? They initiate us to a higher sense of, and since we're talking about diamonds, it would be the values, resources, money, business, finances, all of that kind of fall under the realm of the diamonds. So when we look at the Jack of Diamonds life spread, their first card is the Mercury card, and that is the Four of Hearts. But I'm going to touch on the vertical cards just because of what has been playing out this week. Four of Hearts is the Mercury. Five of Diamonds is the direct Mercury, and the Five of Diamonds is the vertical Mercury. The Four of Hearts is a very strong card of home, stability, emotional satisfaction, the heart, right? Feeling safe, feeling secure. And we're kind of feeling in this country right now that might be jeopardized just based on the energetic nature that is playing out. So this may be, a good time to kind of be with the people you love, those close that bring that emotional security. And I do believe Jack of Diamonds are very big on home and family and having that emotional connectiveness, even maybe taking a trip with your family, kind of maybe like tuning out a lot of the chaos that may be playing out. Not to say to ignore it, but to kind of give yourself some space for your own like emotional sound mind. Five of Diamonds is a strong card of change and travel, change of values, change in, the flow. And so kind of being able to go with the flow, maybe not being so stubborn, because sometimes those fours, it can be very stubborn, very rigid, very stuck energy. But the five is saying it's okay to be flexible. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to adapt at times, right? Now, their Venus card is the Four of Diamonds, and the vertical to that is the Ace of Diamonds. So, this is what makes them extremely ambitious, very driven to build financial security. Anybody who has a four as a Venus card, I think there's a lot about building relationships on trust, on a solid foundation, on something strong, on something solid, but they also have to have that solid sense within themselves. Like, this is a very strong energy of like believing in yourself to create financial stability, knowing what you want and building from that, being clear about what's important to you, Ace of Diamonds, where you see your value and your worth, and building something solid on that. And also, Jack of Diamonds, there is this essence about them of like regal royalty. Like, they are a royal card, right? They're that bridge to that Queen of Diamonds, King of Diamonds energy. So, standing on something strong, standing on something solid is very, very important to them. Specifically, financial resources too. Now, the Mars card, Two of Spades is the direct, and the Eight of Clubs is the vertical. Now, like I said, I'm not going to get into a lot of what's playing out this week that we have already all seen nonstop, but the incident that happened yesterday on the 10th, he was an Eight of Clubs. And so the fact that it's a vertical Mars with this Two of Spades, and the Two of Spades can be a popular energy. They love to socialize, they love to be out with people. That's a friendship card, working relationship cards, connecting with people, having that banter back and forth, that conversation, that cooperation, that communication. Very big. And the Jack of Diamonds, having that as a Mars card, can be very passionate. You know what's interesting? Three of the Jacks, the Jack of Hearts, the Jack of Clubs, and the Jack of Diamonds, all have twos as their Mercury card. So we, as a Jack of Hearts, we really love that talking, that connecting. Partnerships are a big part of our life and our passion and our aggression at the same time. Definitely can argue. No doubt a Jack of Diamonds will argue you. And again, we're kind of even seeing that play out specifically about this person who is the Eight of Clubs, who, was a part of a very tragic incident yesterday. So, and that's, again, I'm not trying to I'm trying to keep this very neutral, because I don't want to bring any kind of politics into this at all. I just want to break down the cards. So anyways, Two of Spades, Eight of Clubs. And so it even lines up energetically with being out with people, communicating, connecting, those meetings, social settings. And then the Eight of Clubs, take the person out of it, is a fixed mental card. And it also sits Mars, Neptune. So that Martian energy was very strong, very aggressive. And we're even seeing it spill into the days after. And beyond that incident, there was another incident, Martian incident at a school as well. So we're seeing a lot of violence or aggression, maybe dealing with people in places of study. Eight of Clubs, mentally strong, brilliant, focus the mind, right? But very fixed and strong opinions. So this can also make the Jack of Diamonds very argumentative. And we are seeing that, as the days follow with all the incidents that are playing out this week. So be mindful of that energy. People are on edge, rightfully so. The same time, this card is brotherly love, and really, seeing each other and taking the, opinions out of it, and just really seeing each other could probably do us a lot of good. But anyways, Jupiter, Eight of Hearts, Two of Hearts. So is what makes them very lovable, very juicy. This is the playgirl card, the Eight of Hearts. So there's again that Rico, suave, magnetic, charming, emotional power energy that the Eight of Hearts has. Very attractive, very charismatic, very social. The Jack of Diamonds is meant to be in the limelight in some way, shape, or form. This based on this Eight of Hearts. It's a very like, so especially in Jupiter. So again, big energy, expansive energy. Eight of Hearts is great with like the audience, the crowds being very, again, appealing, attractive, emotionally connecting with others. Two of Hearts, the card of relationships, the Lovers card, the Union card, whatever you want to call it. But the relationships are a blessed energy for the Jack of Diamonds, as long as they're not trying to emotionally bully or control or manipulate their partners. They can really have a lot of blessed connections with people that they love. Now, their Saturn card is the Six of Clubs, with the vertical being the Ace of Spades. The Six of Clubs is the messenger, right? The intuitive, the downloads. But when we look at the number six, what does it do? It starts at the top and it goes back down and into itself. So you get back what you put out. So the Jack of Diamonds has a sense of responsibility and a sense of duty to, one, keep their word. They also can be great at like keeping the peace, keeping balance, but it also shows that anything that you are pursuing, your effort, whatever you're putting into it, you're going to get back out. And since the Ace of Spades is here as well, these are very strong cards of like self, motivated, driven. Ace of Spades also can make the Jack of Diamonds a healing type of energy, a doctor or a physician or someone who can transform. They can be natural healers. They also can be the secret keepers, right? This also gives them extreme psychic abilities, maybe even communicating with other realms, that mediumship abilities, because again, this is the messenger card. So they either are delivering messages or receiving messages. And with the Ace of Spades, the veil is very thin. This is the card of death and transformation, death and rebirth. So, and again, it's in Saturn. And so we know Saturn is all about the timing, karma, and this is another very strong karmic energy as well. So with this, you get back what you are putting out. Now, your Uranus card is the Six of Spades, and then the vertical to that would be the Queen of Hearts. And Uranus, again, like I spoke earlier, is that abrupt, sudden, unexpected shift, kind of knocking anything that's not solid down to kind of essentially be built back stronger. And having a Six of Spades here is also about, like, again, the intuitive abilities, the messages, wanting to keep the peace, being responsible, being accountable. But we know that there's highs and lows to these cards. Just because we got sixes in our spread doesn't mean we're going to be taking accountability. We have to learn this, right? And we have this with the Queen of Hearts. So again, the intuition, the ability to serve, and the ability to receive is very strong here. With the sixes and the queens, they're very receptive. So allowing ourselves to receive, but also realizing we get back what we put out. And these two cards, ideally can indulge. And it is sometimes like slowing things down and taking full accountability and responsibility, which again, sometimes on the low side, the Jack of Diamonds, because it can be a very, it's a Jack, there can be like running from responsibility, half cutting corners, doing things half-assed, if you will. So, but you're going to see it has the King of Spades in its spread. It's like it can't get away from the higher self. It can't get away from God, spirit, the universe. Everything is bankable. Everything will come back. So the sooner they learn this, the sooner they actually realize that they have a lot of power when they're coming, especially from like the up and up, if you will. Now, Neptune for them is the Queen of Hearts. There's no vertical. And with the Queen of Hearts, again, this makes them natural healers, a natural sense of like nurturing, being of service. But this is where they can really overindulge, go overboard. Really, their feelings can be very strong, and their senses are like lit up. They can be more sensitive to other people's feelings and having to kind of disassociate theirs from others. This makes them nurturers, but this also, again, because it naturally sits Neptune, there can be some like delusional rose-colored glasses, not seeing things clearly. And sometimes I find like the Jack of Diamonds, because of all the Neptunian energy, it's hard to see themselves. So it really does help when they can really connect with themselves in reality and not in that like deep Neptunian water. But it also shows that they can go very deep, right? Because of all that Neptune influence. Now, their Pluto card is the 10 of clubs. And we've even seen that play out this week because what do the tens represent? The audience, the mass media, communications, podcast, radio, broadcasting a message. And I'm pretty sure everybody watching this video has seen, the things play out over the last few days of mass, attention, mass getting a lot of attention, the media, the social media, the videos that we're all seeing, which is crazy because it's really desensitizing a lot of us as well. So, the 10 of clubs is also the card of insomnia. So, after we witness all the things that we are seeing, and we are kind of in a remembrance of another horrific incident that happened 24 years ago, we may have trouble sleeping this week. Our minds are like ping 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 on steroids. So we may have to find healthy ways to calm our minds, to relax, to try to bring peace and not let the outside world really get us all worked up and stress. But this also makes the Jack of Diamonds extremely intelligent. They are really good coaches and teachers when they aren't afraid to share this wisdom and share this knowledge with others. And again, they do have this sense of like fame or attention, can do really well with audiences and groups of people because of this 10 of clubs. And then the result card to that is the 8 of diamonds. So financially can be very rewarding. Their consistency is what will pay off. They have a lot of financial resources. They're like a magnet to money. They're a magnet to business. They make great entrepreneurs. Look at them. Look at the United States. They sold the American dream salesman card. The financial dreams of having financial freedom, right? Go to school, 10 of clubs, get a good job, make a lot of money. The Jack of Diamonds, this country has pushed that for a very long time. So they're using their energy very well. But this 8 of diamonds and, both of these 8s sit in this Jupiter line. So there's definitely a lot of attention that can be made, resources that can be made, connections that can be made as well. And this is a very powerful card, the 8 of diamonds, that they can be a little greedy. There can be force. There can be manipulation as well. But the beauty about the 8s is it's grace. When the Jack of diamonds really sees that they don't have to push, they don't have to force. A lot of people have probably heard me say this card, I kind of have nicknamed commission breath at times, because when they're on the low side of these energies, they can force it. They want it so bad, but they if they just understood the power that they have, they don't have to force anything. They will naturally attract the right people, the right money, the right business, the right opportunities, just literally through their own, mental power and teachings and mindset. Now, the cosmic lesson to the Jack of Diamonds is the King of Spades. And remember, they have that 6 of clubs and Saturn. So these are very powerful cards to have as a Saturn and as a cosmic lesson. They cannot run from responsibility or karma. And this is like really seeing like the more that they are mature, responsible, taking leadership and authority, and realizing that it's them and God co-creating their life, and that they really are at the helm of that ship, driving it dictates, which side they're going to be on. This is the card of mastery. This is the card of God. This is the card of like all the most powerful card in the deck. And it is also a fixed card as well. So they have that 8 of clubs, this King of Spades, so there can be that stubbornness. And when we look at their whole spread, it's a lot of even numbers, which may be looked at as more like trines in astrology, but it may require a lot more effort to get motivated. Sometimes you can see Jack of Diamonds on the low side being a little lazy or complacent, but the ones that are really successful are out there building it, taking full responsibility, ownership, mastery, using the wisdom that they have within them to really create a lot of success within their lives. And then the cosmic moon is the 3 of hearts. And this is why, like, I've always said the Jacks are like kids, and this Three of Hearts is like a really big inner, child, very creative, very expressive. Now, this could probably get them in some relationship trouble. They may try to, got a few people over here, and I like you, and I like you. And there could be some indecisiveness. But when their heart is really in it and they're not looking outside of themselves and they're really operating from that love and that passion and that creativity, they can be a lot of fun. Very social people, extremely social people. And I think that has a lot to do with this Three of Hearts wanting to get out and connect, especially on like an emotional level, a lot of playfulness. But again, when it comes to like relationships, there may be some like riding the fence and uncertainty about how they feel, and that's where they really have to work from the inside out on their emotions. And then their transformation card is the Ace of Clubs, so they can always reinvent themselves, they can always start something new, they're very curious, they're very inquisitive, they can be like a forever student, always learning, always asking questions. And there's never like, they can forever be like learning and evolving with this Ace of Clubs. Transforming into the Ace of Clubs represents new beginnings, new ideas, new opportunities. So even if one door shuts, well, they got, that it's Ace of Clubs. It's like another door can open, and always looking towards that new door and where they can go and how far they can take it. Great for, again, entrepreneurship, working for self, but trusting yourself and listening to yourself and realizing you have a lot of power within. So to wrap it up, a very interesting week we have seen play out. I may do a video on what has been happening. I'm not sure yet. I can already kind of see it being played out in the cards. So stay tuned. That might get posted. I'm still sitting on the fence as a Jack to do that video or not. Just because it's sensitive. And, again, I'm just coming from the cards perspective. I'm not on any side. I don't have any. I just want to help people see it from the card lens and to see the energy that is playing out. And remember, we just came from a full moon on Sunday. We're in the midst of the eclipse portal. Everybody knows, if you're in the esoterics, that eclipses are very fated, can be very life-changing events. And we have seen so far in this week, and we're not even through the week yet, of a lot of the events that are taking place. So I'll leave you with this. Protect your energy. Try not to let what is playing out, because remember, even, the Jack of Diamonds is a salesman card. And sometimes, we are being led to be focused on certain specific things. And remember, a lot of this is Neptune. And a lot of this can be a trick, a delusion, to distract, a distraction, right? Again, take it with as you will. Look deeper, follow your gut, follow your heart, and really protect, your family and your loved ones as best as you can, by trying to, find some peace, find some places where you can like unplug and really just connect with yourself, your higher power, and get the messages that you need to move forward in the things that you want to do. I wish you all peace, love, and happiness, and stay tuned for possibly another video and on all the things that are playing out. And if not, you will always catch me next week breaking down the Queen of Diamonds energy, because that is the week we'll be in next week. But for now, this is the Jack of Diamonds week, and I wish you all peace, and I will see you next time. Bye.